What is up, guys? It's me, and
Oh,
yes,
that's my cue. Sorry.
yes. If I say and doggy,
You left a huge gap. My bad.
I kind of like made that up on the fly. I should have said, "All right, you're on," but I just wanted to see if you come in when I went and.
Hey, I got some experience in this. I'm paying attention. I'm ready.
Man, so how you been, man?
I've been pretty good. Can't complain too much, even in these crazy and trying times, if you will. It's been chilling.
Hey,
How about yourself?
I'm good. I mean, I miss everybody a lot, but I there's
Oh,
nothing stopping me from going to 404, I guess, but other than the fact that I don't play any of those games.
I mean, you could lead the revival of Sam's show in Georgia.
I'm burying that game.
Ooh.
I'm burying that game. We are
All
not
right,
reviving that game in any capacity.
somebody will do it.
I mean, it's not up to me. If anyone else wants to do it, they are more than welcome to. But I mean, who would want to to revive that right now?
I don't know. Maybe you can find a small pocket of people up at 404. They seem to have people willing to play damn near anything you can think of.
That is true, but I don't know. SNK gotta earn that shit. They gotta earn that shit. I'm not giving them any more of my time or money until they fix anything.
Now,
Anything.
see, this is the part where you edit the clip into the VOD, right?
Man, I don't have to. They fucked up. That's all I'm gonna say now.
Yo, oh,
It's funny though. Like,
man.
I mean, just talking about like 404. It's cool seeing them still up there playing. I like seeing them. I just like seeing the community still active, I guess. Even though I
You want
don't. Even though I hate both of those games.
both those games?
Street Fighter Five and Tekken 7. Unless they're
Yeah,
playing another game like Dragon Ball,
yeah.
maybe.
They stream some Dragon Ball. They stream some Ultimate. They stream. I think they're starting Soul Calibur again. Like, yeah, like if you don't actually watch 404 closely, you miss a lot of the stuff that goes by. Like, I had it on the tip of my tongue, bro. I don't know how they did it, but they survived the nuclear holocaust of COVID hitting businesses.
Yeah, I'm impressed it's
Because
around at all. To be honest,
yeah,
it's pretty impressive. It should
yeah,
be. On all accounts, it should have died. I don't want it to go away, but I've seen a lot of different places that doing the same thing, completely wipe off the face of the earth
my
just because of
sentiments
this.
exactly.
So I'm happy for him.
The
But
troopers.
yeah, have you been down there?
Since or ever?
I know you've been there once, right?
Yeah, that's the only time I've been.
That one time.
Yeah, it's
It's a
it,
drive.
well, it's that, and it was just circumstances, right? Like when I was gonna start going up there, well, the world kind of fell apart.
Yep.
So
Yep. I mean, I only went up there a couple times for Samurai Showdown. I would have probably went more, but it didn't have to go the way it did. But it is what it is. But anyway, that's
what's up?
Georgia. So
Yeah.
you are a person of commentary, correct? You do
No,
that. You do
no,
not do commentary.
that's the other doggy sandwich. That's not me.
Okay, so it's
You
not
you
you.
introduced a doggy sandwich or something. Nah, not commentate.
Man, what's the last? I know. I think recently I saw that you did commentary on something, but I can't remember what it was.
BB Tag, and Grand Blue for Zone Breakers. I have been consistently doing commentary throughout all of this. Like,
Really?
yes. So
Like every week?
every other week.
That's still
So
pretty
it was. You remember this old archaic tourney last year called House of Pain? I believe it was.
good. That sucked. That tournament sucked ass.
Wow.
All it did was host games that don't fucking work online.
I mean, you said it, not me.
I mean,
But
I'm a first-hand
what
experience of this.
I guess you would have that, wouldn't you? But yeah, so when that was going on, like I was doing that with you, doing zone breakers with Sonido, and that still took up a week to week basis because you guys were trading bi-weekly, right?
Yeah.
When the House of Pain was sold, zone breakers still went on. So aside from like Sonido wanting to take a break here or there, which was maybe no more than 3 occasions, I've been doing bi-weeklies since then.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I did not realize it.
Well,
But I'm not following. I'm not following actively anything doing with these online tournaments because you know me. I don't value net play tournaments in any capacity.
fair.
So
That
I'm not interested.
that is a fair thing to say.
I don't value any outcome in a net play tournament. Not to say people aren't allowed to enjoy them. I just personally don't value the current state of fighting games net play, I should say. Now in the future,
The future,
the near future, with Guilty Gear and possibly others, maybe that'll change because the netcode for Guilty Gear was so good that I could see that being a plausible thing.
Which one? Which one?
Both.
Now you say that, and I'm making this jab. So I saw that there was a decent tournament yesterday. Like I don't know, like if it was like a major online tournament, but they specifically had to separate South America because of connection issues for Plus R. And my knee jerk reaction to seeing that was like, but I thought this was supposed to be like God's gift of net play.
As far as I'm aware, it was working fine, and I think they did a recent patch and it threw a wrench into everything.
Nah, man, that's not what rollback does. Rollback's supposed to work through thick and through thin.
I mean, if you've been alive for the past 6 years, you just gotta look at Street Fighter V to know what that looks like. To know that this shit could be really bad too.
All right, there's rollback, and then there's lullback. All right,
yeah,
Street Fighter V,
lullback, non-functioning.
To its credit, though, you can safely say that it is actually rollback. You can see the back being rolled when it happens. You can't say that for some of the other games. Tekken.
I mean,
Flex.
First of all, Tekken don't have rollback.
Hey, talk to the devs. Talk to the front.
Harada needs to get some of that fucking netcode out of his ears. Because that shit is not fucking rollback. At what point does the game roll back at all? Like I don't know. I just don't. I don't see what he's saying there. Somebody needs to talk to that man.
You got to get out your video editors and you got to go frame by frame. You can see it. It's like getting under the microscope. You got to dissect what's happening.
That man's looking for Jesus in his tortillas. But yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. It looks better. It's fucked up to say, but COVID did level up our infrastructure.
It bothers me so much that this is what it took. And it bothers me because before last March, before the whole world was told to sit inside, there was a pocket of people. It was a really small pocket of people. And you found archaeological evidence of these people, right?
Yeah.
There was a small pocket of people who were saying, please fix the netcode. But a vast majority of the FGC was screaming, go to your locals. Go, you remember that? Go to your locals.
I was a part of that. We talked about it. I didn't say that, like, obviously netcode wasn't important. I'm just saying the only way you could get around it is by going to the locals because it was so terrible. There's nothing you could do. Unless you what's that boy's name? The really good Mortal Kombat player that lives here.
Ninja Killer?
Yeah. He could do that. He plays Mortal Kombat, which is probably the best example that we got here, a functioning rollback, I think, currently.
Fatality.
He's ridiculous. Now, I remember we talked about, like, he probably should go out he would get more out of playing locally. But
right.
In a way, but he doesn't have to because his net play is so strong
circumstance.
He doesn't even have to make the drive. He can get the same amount of experience. Obviously, there are things he can't get, like Poke Chop yelling in his ear.
Money match.
Yeah, you can't get the nerves of someone yelling and being belligerent, but at the same time, it's still good for matchups. Now, my problem is that if, like you said, the FGC was like, just go to locals. Well, that's not the answer. The answer is to tell these guys to fix it so we don't absolutely have to go to our locals.
Yeah.
But I think we were in a weird place because everyone in the FGC is old as hell. So they didn't mind just saying, fuck it. I'm going to my local if they can make it. And then the people who were too far are just like, fuck it. I guess I just can't practice.
I wouldn't go as far as to say that it was specifically like you just described. It was more of the vocal people, the visible people were like that. The ones who were like moving and shaking out in the public eye, they were willing to go to their locals. And if they were a known net play monster at that point, well, they were living literally in the mountains, like ye old Ivysaur, if you remember him.
Yeah.
Georgia Blazblue Lezen, one Evo, lives in Washington now, if I remember correctly. Literally lived in the mountains here and then moved to the middle of nowhere in Washington. People like that.
Yeah.
But there's still people, like from then, more so now, obviously, but even back then, there were people who were screaming to fix it, but just nobody was looking at them back then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have social media now.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Twitter's
big,
a powerful tool.
Yeah. I mean, I think I already talked about it in my first podcast coming back about like, I talked about most of this. I was just yelling into the void though. The first time, which I think everyone felt that, but social media is so powerful that things that we couldn't ever imagine doing back in 2008 is possible now. Like, I don't know, like harassing Harada or like bombarding SNK with pleads for rollback. Things like that was not possible. We would just get one-way communication from some kind of interview, and then whatever was that was it, and then we would get nothing, and then that was the game. And it's funny because you could still see us pleading back then, but it was in the forums where where developers closed their eyeballs, so they didn't have to look at that. But I posted it. I posted like 15 examples of people talking about rollback netcode back in 2008. And I mean, I saw that one poor fellow that was like, I wonder if we get rollback in Street Fighter 4. And then Seth Killian said something to the like, it's too hard, it's too strong of a game, it's too demanding. And now we know that's just bullshit. But they either didn't know back then how to actually implement it correctly in the way we do it now, because their understanding was to do it the way that HD Remix did it, or that older titles did it, where they just ran the game like at 400%, and then it didn't matter because the game's so old that everything can process it easily. Yeah, you can't do Street Fighter 4 like that. But now we know it's bullshit. You don't have to do things like that. That's just only for old games. It's the quickest way to do it. You just have to build the game for it. Now, I could let that go. But then, because, that was only a year after, HD Remix. But I can't let Marvel 3 go. That was, like, it existed. You could have damn well.
Thank you for a ride.
I mean, you know why I can't let Marvel 3 go? Because not only did it not have rollback, it didn't have a fucking replay function or a way to spectate.
Yep.
People don't remember that, but you couldn't even spectate in Marvel 3.
If I had a camera, if we were doing webcams or whatever, I'd be doing a little card dance right
now.
Oh,
the card dance where it's like spinning or it's like going back and forth and clashing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so
That was my jam, yo, just waiting for my turn.
It was so ugly. You just had to watch the health bars and watch the cards dance. But yeah. So
getting back to the topic, and I'm trying to use this as a segue on your podcast. I remember actually like sitting in lobbies with people like Xbox Live parties and actually quote unquote trying to commentate what was probably happening in the matches based off of those health bars.
No way.
Yup.
You had to guesstimate what was happening by the health bars. Did you
We
ever
were just
see the guy have like full health and then like suddenly he lost all of his characters? You're like, well, I guess that
Yeah,
guy popped X Factor and won.
yeah. It's Marvel, baby.
You're like, wow, what a great game.
Uh, that is the game that people love.
People will love anything so long as it appeals to them. So
Yeah.
that I think anyone at the end of the day when it comes to these fighting games, they just want something they perceive to be really, really fun and makes them feel powerful. I think if you can make a fighting game where you feel powerful all the time, then no matter how busted and unequal it is, it's still going to be exciting to watch and people are going to have fun playing. Because Marvel 2 is, to me, that where there's only like X amount of characters, but they're so fun and they're so, like, they feel so fun, like, and unhinged that you can enjoy it regardless of how many characters are trash. But then you got, like, the newer games where I think they're kind of, like, backing off of that, and it's not a really good. This is my opinion, obviously. Not everyone will feel the same. I just don't feel like I don't feel like putting combat mechanics in video games, fighting games specifically, gives you that feeling the way the older games did, where the characters are just busted all the time instead of for like 10 seconds.
Depending on what you're using for a comeback mechanic. But what I was going to say is, to this day, and I've said this since I can't remember what year it came out. To this day, I still wholeheartedly believe that if Killer Instinct released and was not locked to Xbox, yeah, it would be one of the most popular games, one of the most popular fighting games, like on all levels, because on a competitive level, it's rounded enough. Like, I can't sit here and say I know all the specifics of it, because I clearly don't. I know very little of the game, but I know that it functions well enough for what people want in a fighting game, right? You're allowed to play offense. You're allowed to defend yourself, right? Yeah. You're not just consistently overwhelmed with, oh man, I have to block for forever. And there's not like you're losing, but now you're winning, comeback factor, stuff like that. But the important thing, and this is the thing I always hinge on, is on a casual level, it is the game where no matter what you are doing, no matter what is happening, no matter what your scenario is, your objective is to press a button and something happens. And people want that.
Yeah.
Think about the blocking thing. People scream about having to block forever in Arxis games, Marvel, because they're powerless, like you're saying. They want to feel powerful. Now imagine like blocking or getting hit and knowing that I'm waiting for this moment, and when I press this button, F you, it's my turn.
Yep.
On the other end of the spectrum, when you're pressing the buttons and you're putting hurt on somebody, what if I'm, instead of just doing the same route or doing a specific set of routes, I know you're looking to press this button for this thing. So I'm pressing either like button A to go a different direction, button B to counter you pressing a button, and I get to shove you back in the locker.
It's a good system. Like, it makes it very dynamic at all times.
Yeah.
So it keeps everyone engaged. It's fun. I think Killer Instinct's really fun. I just don't play it because, I'm just preoccupied doing all other stuff. Fighting games require a lot of dedication.
Wait, why aren't you playing Killer Instinct? I mean, it's got an engaging system. It doesn't have, I can't specifically say comeback. It doesn't have like an oppressive, outstanding comeback mechanic. It's got rollback. Yeah. Why ain't you playing it, man? You ain't even got to be serious on it. You can just, slap some buttons and have a good time like you were doing back in the day.
You ever play a fighting game and you're like, this fighting game's pretty good, and then you're like, none of these characters appeal to me?
Yep. I actually know that feeling.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
Because when I play fighting games, sometimes the characters all appeal to me and some don't appeal to me at all. And so it's like Street Fighter 4, almost all the characters appeal to me in some kind of way. But when I play Killer Instinct, I'm like, none of these characters really make me want to keep playing. And it's not because the game is bad. I think the game is great. I just don't. Fighting games just take a lot of time, like I said, right? So, like, I have to find a character like that. Otherwise, I'm not going to want to invest such an extended amount of time in a fighting game. It takes way too long to be good.
Killer Instinct did not blip on my radar. And I was at the first Killer Instinct major, actually, or one of the first Killer Instinct majors, community ran majors. It was Apex 2014. There's actually a little bit of controversy behind it, production controversy. But that game did not blip on my radar at all because I looked at the characters like, I mean, I remember these characters from back in the day playing with my homies on Super Nintendo, but like, I didn't care. But then a few years down, or a few months down the road, sometime down the road, they came out and they were like, yo, we got this guest character, right? Like, all right, cool. Another character for this game I don't care about. Yo, wait a second. Is that who I think that is? Yo, Rash? And at that moment, I don't remember what stopped me from going to buy X-Bone. Because I would have did it. I really would have did it. Like, yo, I'm down for this.
He looks great.
So, yeah,
but yeah, like I can see you being like, yeah, Rash, because he looks cool. They did
like
everything right with Rash. It's like, how could you look at that character and complain?
Yeah, that's a really good guest character. Really well done guest character.
Guest characters, I hate those characters too. It's fucked up to say, but I really don't like guest characters. That's a whole nother discussion. I can go on. I can go on forever about why I hate guest characters. I feel like I say I hate more than I like, but
you do.
It is what it is. I can tell you what I don't like.
I listen to you and I see you go off the rails about stuff, and I don't have like the similar topics that just like spark responses to me, but just the constant what I don't like, what I can't stand. I look at that, I'm like, man, yeah, that's me. That's totally me.
I mean,
ask me what ask me what I like, and I'll sit there for like a good 10, 15, 20 minutes. It's hard. Ask me something I can't stand. Oh, bro. That's kind of why we're here, right?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just human nature to be able to name things like this quicker than to find the positives.
Bro, we're just haters.
Yeah, everybody.
You gotta accept it. People are haters, but they might be subconscious haters. They might be internal haters, introvert haters. Bro, we haters, dog. Just accept it. All right.
Oh yeah.
Accept it.
All right. So speaking of hating,
yeah.
So let's talk about commentary. This is why I brought you on here.
Dun dun dun.
Which that's half truth. I just want to talk to you, but you're also a commentator.
Aww.
I should have brought.
Sometimes
I think I'll probably get Coach on here maybe next time to talk about commentary as well. But
so you gotta expand with Coach. There's a lot of topics you can use him for.
Oh yeah. Well, he's got his own thing. He's got his own little podcast. So maybe he's more interested in just doing that.
Tag team.
Tag teams. Okay, so with online tournaments, there being like 50 damn tournaments a week right now.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, it's funny to think about because if you think about it locally, the problem we had here in Georgia for the longest time is that we had like some weird idea of like what's the word I'm looking for? Saturation.
Yep.
And it's true because there's not that many people that would compete. So in order to obtain new people in the area is difficult. So therefore, if we all host tournaments every week, it's oversaturation.
Uh-huh.
Now, internet-wise, I don't know how that happens or how it works. But to me, it almost looks like oversaturation. But it's really not because you can technically get anyone. And people can enter multiple tournaments at the same time.
It's like if it's... about this, and I mentioned this quite a few times on Zone Breakers. Like, at the end of the day, yes, it's oversaturated, but because it's the internet and because of a couple of good features, as long as people are willing to do it, there's a lot of merit to having a lot of tournament because you have these people. Take the net code out of it, all right? You have these people that are willing to play, to compete, either for practice, for prize, whatever, right?
Yeah.
You give them various outlets to compete, right? And as long as they are responsible enough to communicate with the TOs, try to line things up and schedule things, you can literally have people shuffling through a couple of tournaments at a time. One of the common things that actually happens for Zone Breakers, for BB Tag specifically, is they will have like maybe 2 or 3 people who is like, we're in like this, we're in NLBC, we're in something else. It's like, can you just like, kind of slide the matches around? So like I can play my match here, hop over to NLBC real quick, come back over here, so on and so forth. And it's like, it's kind of a little frustrating for the TO, a little frustrating for production, for commentators, especially ones that are very bad at filling dead air. I'm raising my hand, by the way. That's one of my weak points. But for competitors, it's like one of the things that they really would look for. Like, think about this, right? If you could play Sam Show. Now, I know we're going into Earth 2, as we like
theoretical
to call it,
land where Samurai Showdown is a functioning game.
All right. Yeah. Would you rather just play? Would you rather sit there on a Saturday afternoon, chilling, mind your own business? Would you rather play one tournament, starts at 2:00? It's like a 13-man tournament. I mean, you Painbot, you kind of grow. So let's say you just blow through everybody and you're done with it, right?
Yeah.
That's your Sam Show for the weekend. That's your tournament experience for the weekend. But what if you could enter a tournament that starts at 2, a tournament that starts at 4, and with a little bit of communication, you're able to keep a constant stream of matches and get, technically speaking, twice the experience, twice the match knowledge, twice the player base, depending on if you're playing different people or not, twice the exposure. Doesn't that sound like a plus to you?
I don't think it's fair to the TOs. I would never do it. Because if I'm really that good, there's always the chance that when I get to grand finals, I may hold up a whole nother tournament. Just because of 3 out of 5.
That is true.
I would never do it.
That is true. And that is a very fair, reasonable, and commendable thing to say.
Well, yeah, but I'm trying to win. Right?
Right.
So that's what I want out of the tournament. Now, I can't speak for these other guys. That's not what they may want. They may want the Matcherino money. And that's why they're competing. They don't give a shit about other people. So they rather just try to collect all the Matcherino money from different tournaments the same day just to get... obviously, they may have things they got to pay or whatever, but at the same time, they're doing it right now, for a reason that's not just to win. So, of course they're going to enter as many tournaments as possible. That's the highest probability of coming out with money. For me, like I said, I can say I don't care about entering a whole bunch at the same time because I want the best experience for my TO, for me, and my competitors. But if I needed money, or even if I didn't need money, if I was just an asshole, selfish, that just wanted all the money regardless, I would maybe enter every fucking tournament I possibly could find and make it the TO's problem to coordinate everything because I'm the best player and I'm the reason why people are gonna watch this and me. That's what. I'm not.
So if you were Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, if I was Scrooge McDuck and Scrooge McDuck could fucking like outrun Usain Bolt, then yes. That's what that would be.
Got the old man waddling up to the start line. Got the pogo cane out.
You ain't beating me.
Oh, no.
Obviously, calling people selfish for doing it is going to make them feel some kind of way. But at the end of the day, if you truly cared about like the tournament experience, I mean, you know about when we ran the tournament. Well, when I ran the tournament, I ran like a tight ship. I made sure that everything was like super on point to make sure we minimized dead time and everyone was where they needed to be. And I call out the matches preemptively. And then if there was anyone not doing anything, I DQ'd their ass within like 40 seconds. Like I didn't do this 15-minute wait time. But that's because I'm trying to make sure the people who do care about the tournament and what they want the best experience for what they're getting out of my tournament, I'm putting them over the guy that is probably going to win 3 other tournaments and he really don't give a fuck about what I'm doing. So that's how I feel about that. Maybe the second best guy wins, but fuck that first place guy. if he's
Wow.
gonna ruin everyone else's time. Maybe that's too harsh, but that's how I feel deep down in my heart.
It's it's your opinion. You are entitled to it. I will safely say that there is nothing wrong with that. It's pretty valid. Um, I could I can still see plenty of ways to work around it and turn it into not only a salvageable thing, which is bare minimum, but there's a lot of ideas that has crossed my mind just with the nature of online tournaments. To the point where I really should just like try running one myself because I think there's a lot of things that can be done with that.
There's probably a
Like
way.
it's
You're probably right. There's probably a way to manage it all. My only
yeah, it's
issue is people are humans.
yeah.
I don't think they're gonna always act accordingly. So the more
I,
things you put in for these people, the more things that can go wrong.
yeah,
And
that is human nature.
obviously, this is gonna bring me. This is actually gonna segue back to what I want to talk about. But
Go for it. Drive,
they,
drive.
so they're gonna be like, it's just a It's just a casual tournament, man. This is a weekend tournament, so who cares, right? But they're not respecting everyone's time and the effort involved in putting it together an event, organizing the event, organizing the people to be there on time. All that has to. There's so much that goes on.
I'm hanging air quotes around on time because we're talking about fighting game tournaments.
I know.
Tournament
Hey,
standards.
I DQ them. I DQ them. I don't fuck around with that shit. Like if they're not on time, there's no air quotes on my tournament. They're
Yeah.
out. Like
Mm-hmm.
I will never fucking make exceptions. But
Ruling with an iron fist.
well, you got to, man. Then they should show up on time. Like, they knew what time the shit started. But the reason I'm segueing is because the reason why people don't mind doing this is because it's supposedly just an online event and it's just a casual event. So therefore, the standards are much lower. So they don't mind lowering the quality of their own event or making exceptions for those who don't value it as much anyway. But those people who are going to win all those tournaments don't actually value these events as much as the people who are trying to better themselves from like the bottom level. Those people want their time really like used correctly here because they're trying to improve. They're not at the top. They're trying to claw their way up. And if by any chance someone who normally doesn't get first, they normally get third or fourth, and they get first, finally gets first, but the commentary is piss poor, and like the fucking timing was shitty, and there was a lot of dead time. He's probably not going to feel so great about it. He's probably going to feel chafed about it, and he's probably going to have to go back and watch the VODs, and then watch two guys talk about a fucking pizza.
Uh-huh.
When it was his big moment of finally winning. But this guy's talking about pizza.
Pizza time.
And then when he complains, they go, come on, man, it was just a casual. But they don't know this guy's been fucking dying to win a tournament for 3 years. But they want to talk about pizza.
I mean, at least it's pizza, you know, it could have been some worse like chocolate cake. But yeah, that is a thing that just happened like 2 weeks ago, a week ago, recently.
Yeah, that actually is why I thought about this, because I remember talking to you about like commentary quality and how different people don't really value the commentary as much, so it doesn't come out as serious to them. But as somebody who loves not even Ultra, who loves Street Fighter 4, I can tell you how many games that I wanted to watch Bonchan just zone people out with my favorite character, and I almost never put
Tiger.
I never put on the fucking sound because Z.
He just slapped the name on the table.
I've posted publicly and fuck that guy's commentary. It's trash. It's horrible. And it ruined a lot of Street Fighter 4 videos. And you know how bad it is? It's so bad that people, that's just the first comment I see on most of these videos. It's not like, dang, Bonchan was gross. It's like, who the fuck is talking? And Bonchan just won Tiger Uppercut. But the first comment is, who the fuck is talking? But that brings me back to this. Obviously, this is not Tiger Uppercut circa 2013 or whenever it happened. But this is local weekly, right? But
Right.
the reason why I'm talking about this specifically is because I remember seeing that on Twitter. One guy, he was upset because two guys were doing commentary. I don't remember the specifics. I just remember that he was upset because he had won, or he was doing his grand final match. I don't even remember if he won, but
He won.
he won. And he went to go watch the VOD, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And he came to find out, because obviously when you're fighting, you're not listening to these guys. But afterwards, he came to find out that they were just talking about a bunch of bullshit. And
so the specific, or at least the specific that I remember, it was Soul Calibur. I don't remember the tournament. Like, I don't remember if it was an NLBC or like one of the other bigger tournaments that happened lately. And it was a player that just won their first tournament. They either check the VOD, they might have been listening. Some people do that, believe that or not, as crazy as that sounds. But they hear the commentary, and the person makes this tweet that says, it upset me that when I finally win a tournament, the commentators are, instead of like saying anything related to like my moment, they're describing my game-winning 2-2B to a different type of pizza, or various types of pizza.
yeah, that's where I got the pizza from. I couldn't remember what the exact conversation was, but I remember that. I remember a pizza was involved. But
Pizza time.
I can understand the frustration of really working hard, and then you want to go back and watch yourself to see your moment, like third person, and because you want to see what other people think of you, because you're a competitor. You want to see what other people think about your gameplay,
Right.
and the guy's just cracking jokes. So you can't have that. I don't care if it's a local or whatever, because you're not respecting the players. Inherently, you're not respecting the players, because even though you're just commentary on the weekend, that guy, to him, it was like, I'm grand champion, right? And I can't imagine in sports, even at the amateur level, if a commentator would do something like that, right?
Boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah. That's different. That's actually hilarious.
Oh, so it's okay if it's like some dry, I don't know what to say here, it turns into one of the biggest memes ever. I get what you say.
Boom goes dynamite. It was so. It's like the intent where Boom Goes the Dynamite was to not belittle. It was just like he's just trying to say something, right? He was just reaching for anything.
Yeah. Like, I don't really have the most problems with like small like jabs and jokes here and there, references here and there. But one of my big pet peeves of commentary is to either make it directly relevant to what you're saying, or at least like when there's time, when it's like when it's permittable, when it's acceptable, like explain like what you're getting at, like make it function, make it fit into what's happening. Like, I can think of plenty of times in Soul Calibur, like right here now, and even when I read it, like the guy said compared my 2-2B to a pizza cutter, and I was immediately rattling off characters in my head to various characters whose 2-2Bs could be compared to that. But it's like, there's a way to do that and not just make it seem like completely detached from what's happening and why the person was upset and on Twitter armed with 140 characters, right? That's something that I think a lot of people struggle with. Like, they try it for whatever reason, because that's part of their personality, because they don't know what to say and they know they have to say something. Pick whatever reason. but they fail to succeed in making the connection, and then it just blows up in their face.
I think the issue here to me is that there's almost never not anything to talk about in a fighting game because there's so much on the screen all the time.
I there's stuff that's happened. It's really a game to game thing. Like you can make an argument that there's always something on the screen happening, but how much do you need to expand on it? This is something that's always stood in my mind, and this really became stark to me with Sam's show. There's a little bit of a ironic, a little bit of coincidence, but like when two people are staring at each other and they're sitting there waiting for somebody to make a move, yes, there is something happening. There's something very relevant happening, right? But it turns into a question of how much do you really need to expand on that, given the content? And it always depends on how you as a commentator want to treat this. What kind of audience are you like expecting to be receiving your input or output, so on and so forth. But it always circles back to like how much needs to be said, like how much needs to really be expanded on, projected to the people. It's really tough battle. I find it to be really tough in fighting games because some small nuances can really muddy things up when something happens really quickly. So there are times where, in my opinion, there should be some error just waiting for the attention. Not too much. Too much is crazy, especially nowadays. But a little bit of breathing room, as I like to think of it.
There's obviously a skill involved,
right?
To talking about this. Like, in order to supposedly paint the picture to someone, obviously, I think the skill should be how to paint a picture to someone who can't even see it.
Yes.
If you could describe what's going on effectively enough that that they could imagine what's happening just through what you're saying, that's technically the sweet spot you want. But that's not easy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's easy. It's not.
It's not.
It's funny because I watched a KOF tournament like 2 weeks ago, and there was a Spanish commentator, and I swear to God, okay, so the most impressive commentary I always find is the commentary for soccer, and I love watching. I love watching soccer or football. When I'm watching soccer, the Mexican division, they have their own little division, and they have all these clubs. I love watching with them. I love hearing the commentator. The commentator is like, he is the pace of the match. So when something's slow, he's slow. When he's fast, he's fast. Like, he's in there. Like, everything's being described. So I saw some guy doing commentary for King of Fighters just like that, and it really was beautiful. It was like almost like I don't know how to describe it. It was beautiful though. Like, it was
poetry emotion.
Yeah, it's like poetry emotion. when it was calm, it was calm, but when it was fast, he was delivering fast. And I don't know if that was just like, I don't know if that's what. Not everyone has to be that. But to me, I don't know, that seems like important. So when
was it one person by themselves?
It was.
So then I'm derailing you here. That's one thing that kind of makes it really hard for a majority of commentary nowadays.
Actually, I think there was someone else, but I don't think he spoke unless it was slower. Like, when the guy took off, he didn't interrupt him. And then when it went back to they were actually in like tandem, if I remember correctly.
So they were actually fulfilling the roles of play-by-play and analysis, huh?
Yeah, if I remember correctly. I can't remember exactly, only because I only watched like a couple matches.
Right.
But I just remember the commentary being I don't know nothing about KOF, like the old ones anyway. So I couldn't, I wasn't getting into it because I just don't know anything about what's really high level or what's cool or anything. So I just watched it, and the commentary stood out like crazy.
Yeah.
And that was like, that is what I want. Like, I just want fluid commentary that matches what's happening. And in my head, I'm like, what if the guy was winning and there's a lot of shit happening, but they're talking about the 2B being a pizza?
Maybe it was a good pizza though.
Apparently not. The dude was pissed.
Yo, so it was a Little Caesars. That's what it was.
That shit was that shit was not even Little Caesars. That shit was like the Walmart brandless pizza.
But like the reason why like is hard for that to come across for a lot of people, or a lot of commentators do. That's what I'm getting at. The reason why it's hard for a lot of commentators to do that is you can file it under chemistry, but it turns into to have that happen, to have two people sit down, talk about a match, and to have one person who's given the floor and basically allowed to say whatever they want about what's happening. You have to have the other person who's willing to sit there and wait their turn. And that's really hard for a lot of commentators to do, from what I found over the years. What I found over a decade. I'm actually surprised you didn't ask this yet. How long I've been doing commentary? Literally over a decade. But I throw this.
I mean, I knew that, but I guess I should have asked.
but I throw that in there because, like, you were talking about this Spanish Mexican commentator, and given like even with the language, I can picture the flow of that in my mind with like a language with a lot of syllables, like Spanish, Japanese. Those are the two big ones that come to my mind. French to some degree, but I like Ken Bogard. He's a homie. But it comes really naturally, really smooth, and it fits with the fast pace of a match if you're willing to let one person do that. But again, when you have like local levels or two people who just met for the first time at a regional or a major, and they don't have enough experience to sit down and say, all right, who's going to be the one that's doing a majority of the talking? What do you want to talk about? What are you expecting? You get these moments where like something crazy happens, like surprise overhead, Max confirmed. What are we supposed to do?
Yes. Yeah, they both try to do it at the same time, and they're both like running over each other's foot trying to talk.
Yes. It happens so much. But it's like, until you get a lot of experience, and I guess you're willing to give and to take or give. I say both because there's some people who are afraid to like step up and take moments like that. Until you find that balance, or like you can just like pick up on the context clues, like when you should and when you shouldn't say something, it really gets kind of jumbled. Like to put a really recent example into this, the intro to this podcast. You could do that same thing to quite a few people, and they might not pick that up. And I'm not saying this to like toot my own horn or anything, but I'm the kind of person to where like I've thought about introductions for years. What's the best way to do an introduction to like my section of a cast commentary to the beginning of a stream? And it's stuff like, and I'll even ask people when I do this, like, who's doing the introduction? Do you want me to introduce you? Are you okay with me introducing both of us? So on and so forth. Because if you don't, you get like the moment that's happening. The moment is, well, we're here, Painbot podcast, and I'm here with something like that. Yeah, it's like,
yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but that honestly falls onto actually the tournament organizers figuring out who they want to put on for commentary way ahead of time and making sure they have good chemistry.
It more specifically goes down to the streamer. Like it is a thing that people think of. Yes, like what you're saying is true.
Well, the streamer and the TO is usually the same in the online tournament, right?
Depends.
Depends. I did it everything, so I
Look, man.
I didn't know if the other people split it up. To me, it just seems like the TO would just also be the streamer, but I wouldn't know. I guess I'm not running NLBC, right? NLBC has like fucking 40 people or something. I was doing my 20-man tournament.
It depends. Because you said KOF. A couple weeks ago, I commentated a KOF tournament, Bodega Classic, I think it was. Yeah, Bodega Classic.
Bodega?
Yeah. Is it Bodega?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I call it Bodega. That's what I heard. I think that's what I heard him say in New York when I was down there, right before some guy threatened to stab me.
I always say Bodega. Everybody else in that Discord call said Bodega, and I was like, well, I ain't gonna move, but I'll accept it.
You're like, I'm not budging. I've already made my stand on the Bodega.
I've literally grown up listening to Kyo say Bodega. I'm like,
oh no, the Bodega, I miss
it. But yeah, that was ran by an individual. I'm leaving that there because of recent things that have happened in the SNK community. But it was streamed by Arturo.
Yeah.
I mean, Arturo, he's literally streaming something right now. That man's always streaming some of it. Well, he don't run them all.
He's the pioneer of this shit for my eyes. You know, the bigger pioneers, I guess.
For the online era of streaming?
No, just streaming. Like, fighting games.
Him and Spooky.
Yeah, him and Spooky. Like, those two guys are like the pioneers to me. They were the only guys for a long time, they were the only two that I'm like, those are the guys that stream fighting games. Like,
yeah.
That's just how it was. Obviously, other people stream fighting games too, but those two were just the ones that were so consistent and they put in so much work and they were everywhere that's just who I thought of.
And not only were they like the pioneers, they were so hungry. They were always hungry, like especially Arturo. Like Arturo specifically has always been hungry to try to bring the highest quality streams possible of anything and everything that he can get into the door of streaming. And like one of the things that I'll never forget, one of the little episodes with Archer I'll never forget is Apex 2014. That was one of the first times I talked to him, not literally the first time, but one of the first times I talked to him. And somewhere after that event, which had quite a few problems that really aren't in the public eye, I was talking to him about some stuff, and he was like, yo, Dogysamich, man, like I was over here, Dogysamich, everybody calls me Doggy. he was streaming some of the fighting games on the side, some of the side events. He was like, man, like I didn't know Smash was doing it big like this, man. I was like, yo, how do I get into Smash? I need to get in these Smash numbers. And in my mind, I was thinking about this for a second. I look up at him. I was like, no, like you were streaming fighting games. Please get me out of here. Help me.
Yeah, don't come in. Get me out.
But yeah, like he always fiending to raise the production. That's who Arturo is.
I mean, I can understand that. I tried the same thing on my end. I spent a lot of money trying to get the production over here pretty high.
Yeah,
it's not even that high. So I can only imagine the fucking $10,000s of dollars, the $20,000s, the $50,000s of dollars he spent just on equipment and shit. I don't know how much he spent. I'm spending. He probably has $100,000 worth of fucking extreme equipment. Honestly,
I would be surprised if it was any less. Really,
I can only imagine because after I've started streaming, I can only imagine just like how much he has. Because goddamn, the quality is so high, the cameras are high. I know the fucking lenses are expensive. It's just so. I fucking did the highest quality budget stream I could possibly manage. That guy, he's been doing it for so long. He just has a big collection of ridiculous stuff, and I wish the best of luck to him because he's a good example for everybody. But he earned that shit. It's not like he just had all that shit out the gate. You know, he just invested in it over time, over and over and over and over again.
Another name to throw out since we're putting people on pedestals at this point, and this means a lot to me for commentary. Funky P.
Oh yeah, that me and him got into it, but yeah,
he gets into it with everybody because you want to talk about like all across the board expectation levels. Like, great is his terrible. Like that's how high it is. Like when you talk and you work with Funky P, like you can't suck. You can't suck. Like you just can't. One of the big things that stood out to me for commentary, I'm so cool with Paul. Like not like best friend, personal level, anything, but like we've worked together so well, like over the years. But I think back to the first year that DreamHack was in Atlanta, and I was doing Street Fighter 5 with Coach, and Funky P said he wanted us there 5 minutes. Was it five? It was either 5 or 10 minutes. It was 5 minutes before the stream started, right?
Yeah.
Before he cut it on. We had already done sound checks. We had already like made sure everything was adjusted. He had like the first set of matches already on the side on a notepad because he's a G like that and he does that, and that means so much to me. I wish more people would do that. So like we had already gone through all the checks and everything. And I was literally in front of the stage talking to, I cannot remember the guy's name, but it was somebody who had just moved to Georgia, a Tekken player. And I was just introducing him to a couple people, going through the typical, and hang out with these people. There's actually a huge scene if you didn't know about ATL Tekken, blah, blah. And I walked back there, and there was maybe a minute 10 left on the clock that was on the stream, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's in the crowd. Nobody's paying attention or anything. I think I have plenty of time when I walk back there. And as soon as I sit down, like, he looks over at me and he says, I was about 5 seconds from getting Say Jam on that mic. And I was like, and he was not kidding. He was not kidding. And like, that's just the expectation levels he has at any point in time. And as far as I can remember, ever since we evolved past ATL Revival, man, I hope Poke Chop doesn't hear this. He's about to hit me in the back of the head. Man. Ever since we got past that era of tournament, right? Like, that's just what Funky P's expected. And it really shows in not only the production of his stream, I mean, that's all on his end, but the commentary he allows. He don't let riffraff sit there. He won't. And if there's something he does not like, he is real quick to get rid of it and find something that suits his interest, that suits his expectations. Like another example of that was the first climax of night. All right. Yeah. I was asked to commentate Melty Top 32. Only the top 32. First climax of night. First time this tournament is out in the public side.
Yeah.
This was on Sunday. I didn't go there Saturday. I literally was going to go up there Sunday, and that was it. So I get in my car. I ordered, I stopped to get some food in a drive-thru on the way up there. This is relevant. I stopped and get some food in a drive-thru on the way up there. I get up to the tournament. I sit down and I eat my food. And then about 15 minutes before I go to say, before top 32 starts, I go to say something to somebody, and my voice is literally not there.
Oh no!
Yeah, somewhere, but probably the day before. Actually, like I'm pretty sure I got like strep or something, flu, cold, something. I had no voice. I sounded terrible. I go over to Paul, and I'm trying to tell him, like, do you hear my voice? I sound like hot garbage. He was like, all right, well, can you please still try and see what happens? It'll be okay. I'm like, what?
Damn.
And the reason why that blew me back wasn't because he couldn't find anybody. It was like, he has that high expectation of me, but he wants that kind of quality that he's willing to let me go on there sounding like nails on a chalkboard. He is willing to let me sit down for the top 32 of the debut of a major sounding like that. And after about 4 or 5 matches and damn near dying on the mic and even trying to spin it into like why it happened. I think I did it pretty well. We had a Neko art doll, and I was like, it took my voice, took my powers. But even with that, it got to the point where I was like, I can't do this. Like, my throat is literally hurting. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna hop off. And he looked at me, he's like, yo, could you please not? I was like, yo, I have to get
He's like, please don't leave me.
But the point I'm getting at again, like, and I said this before, it was like, good streamers don't let anybody on the mic. Like, they have that expectation, right? And some commentators, or I guess some up and coming commentators, don't realize that, that when they're going off the rails, talking about what the homies were doing in a hotel, talking about their favorite shows, their favorite animes, and everything, people take note of that. And then they wonder why they get left out, they get ignored, they see their opportunities dwindle, and then they wonder why. Like, it adds up. It adds up.
I mean, I very, very partial to certain commentary. So when I see, when I watch other people's commentary, I kind of just don't ever let them. If I run a tournament, I'm just like, I kind of don't want you to talk.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against you. It's against the things you say.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hate you. I just don't want you talking on this microphone.
Yeah.
And it sounds. I know how it sounds. I get it. I know how it sounds. It's just this fucking guy won't let me commentate at his fucking little weekly with 7 people. What a piece of shit. I get it. Fuck you. You shouldn't have talked about the pizza, bitch.
But it was the good pizza, man. Everybody got to know about the good local pizza joint.
I know not everyone's like this. I'm like this. I don't host. Obviously, me talking about it like this doesn't mean anything because I don't host tournaments currently anyway. So anyone hearing this is not going to be like, oh man, I missed out on this. But it's just, I don't know. I have really high. I really was so. I'm so like. I'm so traumatized by watching old hype VODs of my old favorite players back when I was like striving to be as good as them.
Yeah.
And I just can't help but get a fucking sick feeling in my stomach when I see that shit because it's just scuffed forever.
Yeah.
It's just scuffed forever. You can't go back and read. Well, maybe the technology can eventually remove some sons of bitches and replace them with someone else. But until that day, it's scuffed forever.
There was a period of time. It was roughly when I started until it was exactly 2013, exactly 2013. I can tell you the day. February 9th, 2009 till whenever Apex 2013 was. From that period of time, I don't want to hear my Melee commentary. I really don't.
Oh,
I don't want to hear any Melee commentary. And this includes Apex commentary for 3 years, 2010, 2012, and 2013. Because 2013 was around the time when, like, as a whole, the fighting game community kind of started to clean stuff up, clean up the presentation of stuff, right? But before then, it was the Badlands, the Wild West.
I mean, you just do whatever back then.
Yeah.
Literally whatever.
And there were a lot of scenarios where if you were funny to the right person, you can go a long way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Like one of the examples that I said, like one of the primest examples in all of esports, honestly. You know what a wombo combo is?
Oh my god.
No, okay. So you know what it is.
Yeah.
You should go back and listen to their commentary for that entire match.
It was trash.
It trash. It wouldn't fly by today's standards for many reasons, but that was the norm back. And I ain't gonna sit there and trash them for it because that's how it was. I was in there too, not as deep as they were, but I mean, really off the cuff, offhand comments. Nobody thought of anything back then for a couple of reasons. One, yeah, it was grassroots. A lot of times it was literally just homies hanging out, didn't think it would ever grow up into anything big. Now it's like some of the things that were said back then just wouldn't stand in society today.
Yeah. I see that a lot. There's one moment in particular that really sticks out to me. And it's because me and Bates would go back and watch old Street Fighter 4 videos with my roommate just to show him like some older shit.
All right.
And there was one. I mean, obviously you probably, if you cared at all about Street Fighter 4, you'll remember when Marn beat Daigo that one time. I remember at the very end, fucking Ski Sonic's stupid ass telling Daigo, "Sayonara, bitch." I remember hearing that just now. I heard it like 3 months ago. I was like, God damn. Did you just tell Daigo sayonara, bitch?
Yeah.
I'm like, me and Bass were like, really? That is crazy.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I hate his commentary like crazy anyway. I couldn't believe he told Daigo. This is Daigo Prime too. This is back when he was like unstoppable. So yeah. So him saying sayonara bitch to Daigo back then should have been like a sin. I just couldn't believe it.
Before about like 2013, 2014, around that time, or even around that time, like you can get away with some really ratchet stuff. Really ratchet.
Obviously, it's past, right? So things like that aren't as prevalent because we have moderation and we have some kind of standards, not the highest caliber of standards or anything, but
it's come like so far for pretty much a lot of the reasons we said. Like, there are people who care about the quality of what's being shown to the community, to people outside the community right now. And so they have stepped in to either be the commentators themselves that are willing to put themselves on the line for what they say and be held accountable for what they say. Streamers who moderate who they are willing who they are willing to or who they are refusing to allow to represent their brand, TOs who will pick the streamers, who will pick the commentators, so on and so forth, or even just like a production team in the middle if you're talking about like esports and everything, right? But there's so many people now who are willing and constantly trying to improve the experience that a viewer gets, and that wasn't really on the forefront of people's minds back in the day. Back in the day, it was just like, put me in front of a mic. All right, well, let me air myself out.
Let me talk. I'll just talk.
Yeah. The very first time, the very first match that I ever commentated, number one, the $40 money match. $40 money match. The only reason I was asked to commentate was because there was a VCR, there was a laptop, and the laptop had a microphone. So instead of just having everybody yelling, which that's going to happen anyways, Dogi, you're funny, go over there, crack some jokes. That was literally the premise behind my first commentary.
What, crack some jokes?
Go get on the mic and crack some jokes. Talk some stuff. Talk some shit. Throw it out there. talk the good stuff. That's what people want. That's what the majority of people were cool with back then. I can't even say that's what people wanted, but that's what a majority of people were cool with back then.
Well, they just wanted
That,
something that anyone could find entertaining, which is just some guy cracking jokes.
yeah, like that. That's not the case. I can't say that's not the case. That would be a lie to say that's not the case. That's not the most prevalent thing. And I worded it like that because there are still people to this day that when they listen to commentary, they would much rather be entertained than educated. That's a concept that I learned in high school from my marching band teacher, from my band teacher, marching band director. Because we were one of the forefront, we were one of the leaders of having a competition band, right? That actually go to the competitions, compete against other bands. But people, all these dads and moms who are going to like the Friday night games to watch the kids play football, and they see the marching band go out there, they ain't trying to get educated by like this high tech skill in marching. They just want to be entertained with some of their old favorite throwback jams from the 70s. Don't even really matter how well they march, maybe make a cool picture here and there. They wanted to be entertained.
Yeah, they don't care about the substance. It's just like
Right.
whatever. I'm trying to laugh. I'm trying to have a smile.
Exactly. But if you have these two different crowds at any given time, right, or you put them together, this is the important thing. If you have them together, how do you balance it? That's something that crosses my mind with commentary. It's like there are people who don't care about the numbers. They don't care about the situations for whatever reason. They don't play the game. They're not that high of a level. They're too high of a level and they don't respect your opinion, right? But they still want to listen and they still want to be entertained. Now, whether you like it or not, those people exist and they're listening, right?
Yeah.
So how do you appease them, but also appease the people that don't care for the jokes, that don't care for the references? They want to know there was a gap there. Why was there a gap there? What's the number? Even on a lower level, what move happened? You're talking about Marvel. What is happening? You're talking about BB Tag. What is happening? There are 4 characters on the screen. Lord help me, this is chaos. How do you even like commentate? Please teach me what has happened. How do you balance it?
Probably need I don't know. That's a tough question, right? You just need a straight man, and you need the you need the side man.
It's experience. It's experience. Planning, a little bit of knowledge of the game. I always tell people, like when people ask me about commentary, like when they first start, they're always like, "Man, I'm so afraid. I don't know what to talk about." And I'm like, one of the surest things you can do that'll never be wrong is talk about what's happening on the screen. But I'm a low level player. Like I go 0-2 in all the tournaments. I don't know what's going on. That's okay. Talk about what's going on to the best of your ability. Talk about what's going on, even if you're like making fun of it, even if you're questioning it, or if it's something if it's the one thing hey, that was down 4-1. That down 4-1 hit. I don't know exactly how we wound up on the wall, but started with a down 4-1. Just talk about the game. Because if you're talking about the game, nobody can fault you for what you're doing. It might not be the most knowledgeable thing. It might not be the most in-depth strategical analysis that somebody's ever heard. It might not be one of the most memorable things, one of the funniest jokes, one of the coolest quips ever. But you have a base and you can build from there. You have a foundation and you can stack blocks on top of that.
Yeah, and
A lot of people can't.
You won't have
A lot of
Painbot
people
watching that shit 4 years from now and yelling about it when it's fucking. You're right. Like if you can just do that, then there's not much you can do left or right that would make you terrible, right?
Yeah, you'd be surprised how hard that is for some people to do that.
Well, you know what happens is that people try to, I don't know, they want to have something that separates them, right?
Yep.
So that's when they start doing crazy shit.
Mhm.
I'm the bazing guy. When things happen, I say bazing. I have enough of those guys in commentary that I just do not care for bazing anymore. But
Everybody trying to I can't say everybody. The people who try to force feed their favorite catchphrases that they made up, whether on the spot or somewhere before. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm not guilty of it because I totally am.
well,
But there are some people that are doing exactly what you said. It's like, well, I don't really know what's going on, so I'm going to yell when I think something has happened, and then I'm going to say this cool thing that I already have planned in my head whenever X, Y, or Z happens. And I hope this works.
it's funny. So I'm not a commentator, right? But I am a comedy expert. As much as I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I know what's funny. In general, I know how to make people laugh. Even
Being belligerent, yeah, you're pretty good at that.
yeah. I mean, that's one way to do it. That's one way to do it. But when it comes to people they try too hard in commentary to be funny. When
Yes.
the funniest things always come naturally,
Yes.
always, and they might not even be funny. You know how many times I
Yes.
laughed at someone who's not even funny, just because of something they did was so natural, but it was just oddly placed, but it
Yep.
became hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But if had he tried to force that out, he may have stumbled, and then it just became an awkward moment. So people, when they commentate, I can tell when they're trying to be funny, or when they're just trying to be themselves. But sometimes trying to be themselves is not good either, because themselves is just talking about random bullshit, and they go too far.
Dial it back. You're being a hater again, which I mean, it's fine. You're being a hater.
Well, I would like to think I just speak the truth and I just put curse words on it, so it comes out way too harsh.
Yeah, that is Painbot.
But
Yeah, you're right.
honestly, it doesn't matter. You can be yourself. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that you have to find the balance. Like you gotta find the balance between commentating correctly and building a base, and then you can sprinkle whatever thing you want to do on there. I mean, if you want to be the bazing guy, be the bazing guy. Just don't try to say bazing every 30 seconds. Try Yipes got that. He got that shit cornered. You're not gonna out. Ooh, you're not gonna out him. Just let Yipes have it.
Oh man, I remember Capcom Cup North American Finals 2016. It's a tournament that, to my knowledge, I have to check this again because I periodically check this. To my knowledge, I can't prove to anybody that I was there doing commentary because the VODs never went up, but I was there. This was at the end of the end of Red Bull, one of the first Red Bulls.
Yeah.
So I got to go to Washington to commentate at a Capcom Cup regional final.
Nice.
And I did commentary with Tupperware and Yipes. And even though I wasn't about to try to do it, man, sitting next to Yipes, it's like, man, if I ooh, and I literally said it's like if I ooh or something like that, it's like I can't outdo Yipes. I had to let him have it.
Just let him have
So it's like, so that means I have to actually talk about what's going on. He probably knows more than me. Why am I here? Because it's like, no matter what people say about Yipes, he does play a lot of Street Fighter. So he is pretty knowledgeable if he needs to be. So it's like, help.
Well, I mean, that's because he was. Well, a lot of people, obviously, there's commentators around that are like this. Not everyone that's a commentator is also a hardcore competitor, but
Yeah.
but
I can say that for sure.
Yipes was definitely a competitor first for
Yeah.
the longest time. And now that he still competes,
Mhm.
but he's more of a personality. So he retains the knowledge and the ability to discern the information fast, right? He can tell
Right.
what both players want quick. So since he also still plays games like that, and he has that like mentality and like that hone ability, he can commentate, say ooh, and then go back to delivering the facts like instantly. So, that's just something that's he cultivated himself, right? I think if you want to be, as fucked up as it sounds, but I think if you want to be the super silly guy or like one of those kind of commentators that's
Color
just passionate,
commentator.
you actually need to be really knowledgeable.
Yes,
You know why?
you do.
As messed up as it is, you can't out ooh Yipes because he knows how that combo works. You will never out ooh Yipes ever. He knows the combo. He practiced that shit. You are never gonna out ooh Yipes ever.
Die into the tongue twister out here, man.
Yeah, out ooh Yipes. It's hard to say ooh Yipes. I e o u yeah. But you won't outdo him because he just knows it. So even if you want to be the sound man, you can't. So I mean, you can. It's just you're not gonna outdo him. He's the guy.
You have to be yourself, is what you're saying earlier. It's like, I mean, technically speaking, you could, it's possible, but does it actually fit for what's happening? Can you do it well? Does it function with everything? Because say you can, but if that's all you're worth, I mean, do you just want to being called a Yipes clone, a Yipes knockoff? That happens.
It does. I mean, that's why you have to. That's why you got to be yourself. You won't end up being a Yipes clone if you're yourself. There's only one Yipes, and there's only one of those guys, whoever the theoretical guy is, right? So even if he ends up being called a Yipes clone, if he just bees himself, he just acts as himself, he will diverge enough. Because no two people are the same, right?
You want to know a more accurate comparison for that? Replace Yipes, put in Ultra David. Now think about it for a second. Because there is a main personality right now, should be one of your biggest homies in this day and age, who literally spawned from being, considered, not literally, but many people just considered him an Ultra David clone. So you know who I'm talking about because you laugh, right?
I'm thinking about somebody, but I don't want to say it and be wrong.
Oh, you're probably not going to be wrong because people made the comparison on many levels, many levels.
I don't want to say it because it's hard for me to tell them apart if I'm not looking at them.
Wow,
because the commentary is so identical. I don't want to say.
Say it. Say it.
Is it Sajam?
It's Sajam.
I fucking knew it.
Sajam literally came up in one of the two Cali tournaments, Wednesday night fights, level up. And when he first started, because he's so analytical and knowledgeable about, I think it was Street Fighter 5 when he started, sounds somewhat similar to Ultra David, really nowhere near it if you don't have that bad hearing that I call people saying. But like, if you actually pay attention, they don't sound alike. But if you aren't really articulate in your hearing and you're not looking at them, some people make the mistake that they're the same person. But Sajam stuck with it, and you look at him now. he's not a lawyer. Yeah, he's one of the big personalities in the FGC. And you said that word. That's something that I was going to try to run a string off of for a while. That's the upper echelon of commentary, in my opinion. There's a point where you stop being a commentator and you wind up being a personality. And like, for the people who are trying to get up there and be the ones commentating the top 8 at the majors, the top 8 at the pro tours, the top 8 in the esports events, that's ultimately, from my perspective, what you wind up having to be, which kind of gets off of the topic a little bit for commentary specifically, but it's packaged into it as well. Because to be a Yipes now, to be a Sajam now, an Ultra David now, or any of the other names that you constantly hear being tagged along with Capcom, NRS, with Namco, it acts more than just commentary. Commentary is a big part of it because at the end of the day, if they're going to put you on a mic, you still have to be likable, which is why some of the names don't exist anymore, like the one you said earlier.
That guy. I'm glad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You just I have to throw this out there. You can't describe a group of Black Americans as savage thuggery. You can't on
Woo!
national
He did that
television.
in my hometown.
You on national television, you can't do that. And like you, next topic.
He did that in my hometown.
Yeah. But the names I just rattled off, they don't do that. I mean, so one of them specifically was Pretty Raw back in the day. Yipes. He don't do that no more. He don't do that in the public eye no more.
Yeah,
He keeps it contained to where he needs to be, which is his stream.
yeah. And no one's gonna pull up that stream and be like, "See, this is why we don't have his commentary." Like, you can't do that. That's him just being off stream. That's casual. Unless they're being anal about it. Obviously, anyone can do anything, right? but
Sadly,
you know, it is what it is. If they're going to great lengths to shame somebody, then they will find whatever they need. Thankfully, I made it very easy for anyone who wants to shame me to find whatever they need.
Hey, you stood out there in a white jacket and looked at S&K, pointed the rifle at him, pulled the trigger. That's Painbot.
I stepped outside. I was like, "What's good, bitch?" And they're like, "Please accept this Terry T-shirt as an apology." I'm like, "Fuck you."
Are you okay?
I'm like, I am not okay. No one is okay. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's I just the whole point of this conversation really is that the respect. I think the first step to commentary is to have respect for the players. I guess.
Yes.
This is a long-winded conversation, but it all boils down to the commentators should respect the players' time, and then by default, they will probably be asked to come back again because they're going to be wanted. So that's mainly what it is.
Could agree with that. Yeah.
And if you're a commentator and you're listening to this, which you probably aren't right now because it's been a while and I've already told you all to go fuck yourself like 6 times.
Wow.
But you will become better if your commentary is from the perspective of someone who values the time of people who have grinded and put blood, sweat, and tears to get to where they are, even if it is just a weekend. We got a player who lives here named Dogysamich, and I think he won one Gwinnett Brawl.
Want to say it was one, yeah.
He won one with Samurai Showdown, and he still mentions it casually every now and then. Every now and then he casually mentions that tournament. Not to me, but on his own Twitter.
Right.
And I didn't watch it, but I think Doggy or Coach was doing commentary.
Me and Bates, if I remember correctly.
I don't think Bates was there. I'm pretty sure.
I know. I'm pretty sure I was there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was there.
I don't think Bates did it. Because the whole reason was I'm not going to say that. Okay, so me and Bates were in Alabama during that tournament.
So who was there?
I'd
have to go back and check.
I think it might have been Molly, actually.
That sounds reasonable. I know I've done some commentary with him.
But if Dogysamich wants to go watch his tournament victory, I know since Doggy did it and Molly did it, then he's going to have a good memory and have the video. And he may not get the opportunity again because the game's dead, essentially, here. So I'm glad he has that. Now, Soul Calibur story or whatever, obviously Soul Calibur is not going to suffer the same fate as Samurai Showdown here. But that may have been that one guy's chance to win. And then life is like, something happens. And then now he can't compete. he may want to go watch the VOD and be happy about it. But you're trying to be funny, and you're not. Or if you are funny, you don't know how to do it in a way that's what's the word I'm looking for? Natural. So that's all I gotta say, I guess, on on bad commentary versus good commentary, and the harm it can cause.
Should have mentioned the deep dish, man. It would have been cool.
You know, maybe if it was a deep dish, it'd been funny.
Yeah.
But I obviously don't know these people, right? I'm not a Soul Calibur player. I don't know the commentator for Soul Calibur. I don't know who the guy who won. But I remember watching that and immediately just being like, this shit sucks. I know exactly what that feels like. And luckily, the guy who I hate will never commentate again, more than likely. Unless it's in Asia. Because they're going to want someone who can speak English. But I think he commentated recently once. But
I think his chances are getting lower because if I remember correctly, people still like Cyclops. And Cyclops is doing the thing that he should have did before he came in the FGC. He's literally doing it right now, which is he's commentating the Dota Major. He's casting the Dota Major. Yeah, FGC people, for the most part, don't know about Cyclops and where he came from. They just interpret him as the meme that he was introduced to the FGC as, because that's who he was. He was Southeast Asia Dota caster, casted in English, but he was always doing like tier 2, tier 3 streams that or tier 2, tier 3 games that nobody really cared about, right? He's okay, he's good when he wants to be, but he literally picked up those games so he can cast by himself, make all the random jokes that he wanted to. If I have heard correctly, he is sometimes not in the state of mind that he needs to be doing casting, but people love him for it, right? Some people love him for it. This is actually a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. People who wanted like a serious, analytical casting of Dota despised him because he was never going to give you that.
Yeah.
But people who wanted to be entertained loved him because he was a nutcase, right? But at some point, he wanted to try fighting games, which is where he got picked up for one of the Southeast Asia majors. And for trying to put effort into that, people liked him. Somewhere in there, like slightly before, he was always asked, why did he never want to do tier 1 Dota, professional Dota, like at the majors and everything, where the money is? He's like, I don't want to clean myself up for it. I want to be myself. Now, obviously, something has changed over the years, right? But he has always stuck true to who he is, to what he wanted to be, at least. And he does what he needs to get into the positions that he wants to be. What I'm leading to is now he is commentating the Singapore major that's going on this weekend. First major for Dota Pro Circuit. So it's a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
So if he wants to turn back around and go back to Capcom when all this is said and done, I'm pretty sure they'll let him in there.
Which is whatever, but
he's good when he wants to be. That's the thing. The thing I'm getting at is the guy that you don't want to be there. I feel like his opportunities are really being numbered because of what we've been talking about throughout the day. Just not doing what should be done in front of the public eye.
Yeah.
That's a real surefire way to get any plan you have abbreviated in a blink of an eye.
Well, hopefully, someone says no.
That would make your day, huh? You can go ahead and
it would silently make my day. I wouldn't know about it, but
Hey,
not seeing it happen would be enough for me.
you'll look at some Street Fighter Five Sagat. Just wait till they give him a couple more buffs, man.
I have not watched Street Fighter Five in like years, like actual years.
Oh, you ain't trying to V shift on nobody.
Dog, I ain't trying to be nothing. Why the fuck did they make that shit? You know what? I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm not. That's a whole conversation of why I hate combat mechanics. But yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad things are getting better now for sure. I think it's good that players will talk out about it. My only issue was last time is that when I saw the players speak out, he was met with it's just a casual on the weekend, right?
Yeah,
So, and that's really the majority of the responses.
Which is a
So
shame.
yeah, I can't tell if it's because the people are friends of the guy and they're just defending him, or if that's just the general consensus within the community.
Little of column A, little of column one, sadly. But the important thing is, it's something that's being noted right now, and since it's being noted, I myself am under the assumption that it's something that will slowly be addressed, like many of the other problems, over time.
Well, if that's the case, then I mean we're only like 10 years away from getting our shit together, I guess.
Sounds like
Hopefully,
the FGC to me.
hopefully. I want the
Maybe.
best for this community. It's funny because I don't play anything right now, but I still love the people in it, and I still love fighting games. It's just I gotta see it improve. I can't watch it be the same and stagnate negatively, like entropy, like not not expand, only entropy.
Hey, you say that, but you can get back in the same lane though.
Yeah,
Ah, got him.
shut up. One day we'll see what Guilty Gear the new one's like. I played it.
Ye old strive.
Yeah, I played it. I think it's got a lot of potential. They just gotta change a couple things, which they delayed, so that's good. That's a start. We'll see what it's like when it comes out.
Only time will tell.
But all right, that's I think that's a good time to wrap it up. It's been like an hour and 30 minutes, and we pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about. Unless there's anything else about commentary you want to talk about, I think kind of got everything I wanted.
I mean, I probably could sit here and talk for another 2 or 3 hours on it, but we'll save it for a follow up. How about
Yeah,
that?
we'll do commentary part 2, and we'll talk about something that isn't people fucking up and trying to be funny.
That's always going to be at the core of it. Sadly,
That's fine. Maybe we can talk
that's
about
fighting game
like
commentary.
we could talk about. I guess the next time we could talk about how they can fine tune it effectively and be.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I think there's a way for them to fix that.
There's no hope.
No hope at all.
Ain't ever gonna make it, man.
All right, I'll catch you guys later, and I appreciate you being here. I'll get you again, maybe not next week, but maybe the week afterwards.
Sometime down the road.
Yeah. All right, peace, guys.
Bye.